Nothing good happens after 9. All temptation starts after 9.
Yeah.
Everything bad starts after 9. Fabrics, materials, what would you say is like your favourite to work with at the moment?
I think I'm at a place where I'm just learning about bare new fabrics. I couldn't say I have a favourite, but I'm educating myself on what fabrics to use for what type of vibe you're going for. Obviously, generically, cotton is mainly what I'm working with, but I'm slowly getting into like the denim world, like silk world. So yeah, I wouldn't say I have a favourite. I'm just kind of like taking it in my stride.
So would you say this is a passion for you then? Like you really put your heart in this. Okay, cool. So for, let's say if you was able to speak to your younger self, right? So you're in college, obviously you're seeing Boy Better Know wearing brands and you're like, yeah, this is cold. So would you tell that guy to follow his passion, or would you say,
if I knew,
or would you say just do what you're good at?
If I knew what I knew now, when I started my clothing line, I would have done things so differently.
Like what? What would you have done?
I would have been fully on board. I would have put it like this. I've been doing this since 2012. How long is that?
13 years.
13 years, yeah. And it's only in the last 3 years, I even say 2.5 years, it's only in the last 2.5 years that I actually took that trip to Turkey. And like actually being in the manufacturers, rubbing shoulders and seeing what's actually going on out there, it's mad. It makes your perception on what you're doing completely change. Like, oh, this can be done and that can be done. And I ain't been doing none of this. Oh, so that's how them lot are doing this, and oh shit, those are the prices that people are paying. I'm saying, yeah. If I would have known all of this, I would have been in Turkey 10 years ago. Because there's nothing that's facilitating me to go Turkey now that I couldn't have done 10 years ago. It's only a stone throw away.
Yeah. So like, how many hours? 3 hours?
3 hours?
Yeah.
So would you say, obviously you can only speak from your experiences and stuff, but would you say it's easier to make a career out of a passion, or it's easier to make a career out of something like, because everyone says now, like, trades are quite popular, so people should be plumbers, etc., but people get into it because that's just the thing to do, as opposed to, that's my passion.
Yeah.
So would you say, let's say again, you speak to your younger self, someone saying, because there's probably people at the time saying, oh, you should be this, you should be that, rare, but obviously you've gone the clothing route.
I can't say it would be easier to make a trade out of your passion, but if you're passionate about something, naturally it's going to be easier for you to see that through. Do you know what I'm saying? People are motivated by different things. Like you saying, is it easier to make a trade out of like what's trending? If that pays and money motivates you, you're going to be motivated to get up every day and do whatever that is, whether that's content creating, wanting to be a footballer or whatever. But when you're passionate about it, like nothing really knocks you off of that, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if what you're passionate about just happens to be paying, then it makes sense to like focus on that lane, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So then your business, you spent the better part of 13 years building it, so it's your baby essentially, right?
Facts.
Cool. So if, let's say for example, a Richard Branson came and said, Mr. Hustle, I like your brands, I like your clothing, you're doing well. Can I give you 10 mil for majority stake in your business? How does that look like for you? Like, would you entertain that?
This is me keeping it a buck, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not that well versed in like the business world to either know the benefits of that or the disadvantages of that right now.
Okay.
But what I would say is, you would have to do a lot to convince me to let go of what I'm building right now.
Okay.
And somebody would have to sit me down, whether that be my solicitor or like my close friends that understand business, and be like, yo, that actually makes sense for what you're trying to do. I have no doubt in my mind I can take this as far as it can go, do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I'm just in the building phase. So
I think to simplify it then, would you be open to selling the business at this moment in time? No?
Never.
Completely selling it. So you're hands off. So you just get a lump sum of cash from whoever, and then they can take the brand and do whatever they want.
No, I can take this to a place where I believe I can be financially free, do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like, that wouldn't entice me.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. This is my thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
So when did this become bigger than money for you? Because at the start of your journey, if someone said, I'm going to give you 2 mil to never touch clothes and never do fashion, would you could probably
probably.
taken it? Yeah.
Alright, cool. Yeah. Do you know what? If I'm using my common sense,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
But obviously, that never happened. So
Of course.
what did happen was,
Yeah.
I spent the last 10 years
Yeah.
building something
Yeah.
that I'm passionate about,
Mm.
that I fuck with. So much so to the point where I eventually said, this is what I want to do. So naturally, I'm in a different mind frame now, innit? I see what I've done over the last decade, and I believe I see what I can do over the next decade. You know what I'm saying? So
That's going to be done.
you would have to be talking nice to me to even convince me into letting it go after a decade's work. Do you know what I'm saying?
So that mindset that you just spoke about there, where you can really see a future for yourself in this industry, when did that click? Because obviously you said a lot of your success has come in the last 3 years, and it was just 10 years of work.
Yeah.
So where would you say, if you had to put a timeline, when did you be like, do you know
better,
what?
I'll do you better than a timeline.
And also, adding on to his question, how do you see the brand evolving in the future? So that's a carry on from his question.
Where I saw that transition, was like I said, previously, up until about 2.5 years ago, I was doing like your regular streetwear. Obviously, nice stuff, but nothing mad special.
Yeah.
Anyway, when I first went to go start doing my manufacturing abroad, me and my brother designed a t-shirt, and me and my brother, he's like my biggest critique, do you know what I'm saying? He has no reason to spare my feelings. So if he thinks something is shit, he's gonna give me his honest opinion, or if he thinks I can't do something, he's gonna give me his honest opinion, do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I designed this t-shirt, and I said to my brother, I'm gonna sell these t-shirts for £100 a t-shirt, innit? And there was back and forth in, bro, you're not there yet, like, you're still trying to build up your thing, XYZ, whatever. Even, like I said, he's my biggest critique, but even with us going back and forth or whatever, I still decided to sell that t-shirt for £100 a t-shirt. And it done exceptionally well. So much so that, obviously, there was pie in my brother's face, because every now and again I'm like, rah, I thought you said I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? You didn't believe it, man. But it was at that point I was like, rah, like, swear down. Like, you lot will actually rock with me off of the back of, and they thought that design was crazy. So that made me think, so let me push the bar, do you know what I'm saying? Let me see if I could design a £150 t-shirt. I done it, and it ran. So I said, oh, you lot are fucking with me like that. So I think at that point I was just like, the sky's the limits now. Now I'm just on doing some mad shit.
Yeah. So where do you see the business going now? Like, leading on from CHZO's question. So how do you see the business in the next 12 months?
In the next 12 months, I'm about to give you lot some crazy drops that's gonna make you lot see that, like, we can do the street stuff and we can do the high fashion stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? I think naturally, I only really want an organic following. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to build a community that fucks with man the long way. Do you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that's what gives you like skin in the game. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what gives me the ability to like feed an audience. So seeing what I've done with it over the last year, I just feel like in the next 12 months, it's just gonna be long, man. It's long.
So is there a plan? Because I think often at times when we're passionate about things, we can get carried away. So maybe in your creative process, like you got a lot of freedom where it's your business. So maybe there have been times where I don't know, you're going with the flow. You're kind of seeing what happens. Are you more structured now in terms of obviously learning the business side of things, or would you say you lean more to being creative and free?
So I think, like, I was just about to say the last 3 years, but like I said, I've been doing this. Let me say the last 5 years, because I'll probably say it's like in the last 5 years I really started taking it serious, like both feet in. There was no plan. It was, I'm creative, I make stuff, they like it, I get paid. You know what I'm saying? And naturally, like I said, like when you're passionate about something, sometimes you lose focus of what's the business plan? Do you know what I'm saying? It's not until things started getting like serious in terms of like the income that the brand was making that I was like, oh shit, there kind of needs to be a plan. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like this year was pretty much where I'd say we started, which obviously was part of me saying, you know what, let's make a nice little capsule collection. Let's give them a few seasons at a time, and let's see where we can scale the business to in 12 months. Do you know what I'm saying? Then we strategize from there. But as far as like trying to show up for all the seasons this year, yeah, like I have every intentions of doing so, as opposed to just like the random drops that we used to do.
Okay.
So how important would you say is social media and digital marketing for the growth of your brand?
So important.
Yeah.
And socials is where everyone sees everything. It's like an advertising platform. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially if you use it right.
Yeah.
It's like everybody taps in to see what you're keeping up with, your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So naturally, that's where you can best like appeal to the end customer. So I'd say majorly important.
Okay. So you mentioned about having skin in the game. So obviously you've been in the business for 13 years now.
Yeah.
So do you think, again, using my scenario from earlier, do you think although you could give a young person the blueprint essentially on how to do what you've done, because you've done it, right? Do you think that there's still some element of, I just need to spend time in this to also build that kind of like brand trust? Because like, let's say for like
100%.
events and stuff with CHZO, like you got to be out a while for people to kind of trust your brand. So I imagine it's the same with your industry as well.
Yes. So like, I say this to like all my real brethren that actually ask me, like, oh, how did you do it or whatever. I think one thing that went in my favor is, like, remember I keep on referring to the fact that when I first started it, I've done it for bragging rights. There was no plan to be like a clothing line, or it wasn't like my passion at the time, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because I just naturally grew to love it, one thing that I've had over a lot of other brands or a lot of my peers is I've had that consistency, do you know what I'm saying? Because it's always been there. I've always had it, I've always worn it. Even when I weren't taking it serious, I was still like giving out pieces or whatever. So you can't really teach that level of consistency. Do you know what I'm saying? It's, you either do it or you don't. And consistency in anything it is that you're doing is just mad key. So it's like, what I would have had to like do a lot for in order to gain like the end consumer's trust has naturally been there by default. Do you know what I'm saying? It's always been there, it's always been available. I've always been reachable. So it's like, yeah, you just can't teach that, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you. So, okay. So in terms of what you speaking to the younger people and whatnot, is there one specific thing that you would say has made you successful? If you had to say, if you do this, you will.
If you're consistent, you're good.
Consistency.
Consistency.
So consistency trumps everything.
Consistency kills everything.
Yeah.
Listen, you see in consistency, not only are you doing the same thing over and over again, but you see naturally when you keep on doing the same thing over and over again, you naturally get better at it. Do you understand what I'm saying? You see in consistency, you're forever in the public's eye. Whether that's whatever it is you're doing, content creating, even if it's in your private life. Let's just say like you're in the gym, alright, cool, naturally, when you're in the gym consistently, you look better. Do you understand what I'm saying? Whether you're going up in weights or not, and even if you're not going up in weights, you see the weights that you are doing, it becomes a lot easier and a lot easier and a lot easier. So naturally, consistency gives you things that you can't really get from anywhere else. Whether that's a clear mind, whether that's a consistent paycheck, whether that's, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just things that you get from consistency that no other form of discipline will give you.
So with that in mind then, so does your success come from talent or hard work?
Hard work.
Putting in that hard work consistently.
Yeah?
Consistently.